waterfall plunges straight from the cliff's edge, its spray unraveling like white smoke ribbons through the deep forest. The roar is deafening. It tears through the silence like thunder cracking open the sky. And yet, just a few steps beyond that torrent, beneath grass that barely brushes the knee, lies a different realm. No motion, no sound, no sign of people, only watchful eyes, and footsteps timed to the second. Victoria Falls is not just a natural wonder. It is a razor-thin boundary between structure and chaos, between a river that sweeps away everything, and a savanna where life survives by silence and precision. Here, water levels shift week by week. Migration paths are cut off. And with every dry season, the presence of humans spreads farther and deeper. It's not the strongest species that survives, but the one that changes its behavior before the world changes again. From mopane thickets to muddy riverbanks, each species, each survival strategy is its own quiet answer to an ecosystem in flux. Victoria Falls, ecosystem where the wild awakens and the silent hunt begins. Scorched grass stretches toward the tree line of Mosioatunya. The earth below cracks like aged leather, its surface marked by deep, deliberate tracks, each one a memory pressed into soil. A herd of elephants moves slowly across land that was once rich and abundant. Leading them, an elder female, one tusk scarred down the side, one ear torn a record of age and hardship. She doesn't raise her head. Her trunk swings low, sweeping, sniffing not for water, but for traces of those who walked before. She's reading a map, one that's been blurred by time. In an elephant's world, memory isn't optional. It's everything. A single matriarch can remember dozens of roots paths that stretch for hundreds of miles, across dry seasons and flooding rains. They recall where the groundwater lies shallow, where Dioscorea roots grow hidden tubers rich with moisture, tucked in stony ground. They remember where brushlands once cleared now regrow with fresh grass after the rains. When the environment shifts, some animals pause, but elephants never stop. They carry their families, and the only direction is forward. A calf slows, its legs wobble. The skin around its eyes is pale and dusted white. The mother halts immediately. She lifts the calf gently with her trunk, nudges its side part comfort, part urgency. But ahead, time never waits, and a matriarch's decisions must never be wrong. At dusk, the herd stops beside an ancient tree. Tusks begin to scrape the hardened ground, turning dry dust into damp soil, searching for any trace of water seeping from the deep. A calf collapses to its knees beside the pit. Its trunk brushes the cool dirt, then lifts, reaching toward its mother. She draws water with her trunk and passes it on mouth to mouth, trunk to trunk. No words, no sound, only the quiet exchange of survival etched into them since birth. As the light fades, there are no roars, no predators, only the gentle rustle of skin against skin, and the soft breath of soil being stirred, then nightfall. In the Mopane woodlands, the trees are sparse and low. Sunlight spears through in diagonal rays like golden blades cutting across shadow. A lone female stands motionless, old, still. She's remembering, or she's sensing something else. Memory is power. But here where roads are blocked, the seasons don't behave, and human noise grows louder. Memory is no longer enough. These elephants survive not just by remembering, but by adapting to what memory never taught them. One morning, before the heat sets in, the herd finds an old hollow. Years ago, it held water during the rainy season. Now it's just a patch of brittle grass. Still the matriarch digs, as if to say, we lived here once, and maybe we can again. In this land there are no signs, no trails, only memory, instinct, and the courage to choose the next step. These elephants no longer walk to travel, they walk to survive. This is not migration for destination, it's migration for existence. Under a pale red sky, the herd disappears behind tall grass. No sound, only footprints deep, deliberate like lines written on a map that was never finished. Morning in the Mopane forest. Sunlight pierces through the canopy in stripes of light and shadow light. Dark, light again. The air is still. Nothing stirs, except one shadow, gliding silently over the bed of dry leaves. A leopard, not a ruler here, just a survivor. Once, she held a territory. She used to drag her prey up trees, far from scavengers. Now she's been pushed to the edge. No land, no shade, only the margins where nothing wants to live. And here, the hunt begins, in silence. On a gently sloped patch of earth, a dry termite mound rises like a boulder of dust. Low bushes grow nearby, just enough to hide a crouching cat. 100 feet away, a young warthog noses through the grass. The breeze drifts backward. Perfect. The leopard locks eyes on the target. She doesn't lift a paw. She glides forward with each tightening of her belly, every silent push of her shoulders. The gap closes 80 feet, 60, 40. Then a sharp yelp slices the air from the left. Hyenas, a pair of them, crossing into the hunt zone. The warthog startles, then vanishes into the brush. The leopard lifts her head but doesn't snarl. She has no claim here. This is the fringe, and she's just another outsider trying to survive. Failure is not unusual, but for a leopard running on fumes, it's a heavy price. She doesn't climb trees to rest anymore. There's no energy, and here on the fringe, no trees tall enough. Instead, she finds shallow depressions in the land low dips that catch the shade of scattered mutton bushes. Places no one fights over. She lies there, breathing steady, ears turning with every insect's call. Leopards live by precision. They don't chase far. They don't waste time. Every hunt is a gamble. One wrong step, and the morning is lost. One misstep in silence, and the price is hunger. But here on the edge, most mistakes come from others. Hyenas faster, louder, disruptive. Lions rare in this zone, but their scent still lingers. And younger leopards, brash and bold, pushing in from neighboring ranges to reclaim lost ground. They hunt early, while this older cat can only wait until the others fall asleep. Midday, the leopard rises, not fast, but deliberate. She moves across a worn trail without leaving a trace. There is no fixed target here. On the fringes, prey is never certain. A burst of guinea fowl rushes by like arrows. She doesn't move. She won't waste the effort on a maybe. A dassy. She lets it go. Too small. Not worth the energy. Then, fresh tracks. Warthog. Alone. This is something real. She lowers her body again. Afternoon light tilts across her back. Highly nurturing mong diado ever dead over rosette. She melts into the grass, no sound, no shadow. Ahead the warthog grazes. No offspring, no alarm, a rare chance. But the moment she springs from cover, the warthog turns, gone in a flash, swallowed by brush. She halts. Another morning. She stalks again. Same crouch. Same silence. Another failure. But she doesn't stop. Stopping means starving. She is no longer the best hunter, but she's the most patient. As the sun climbs, she curls beneath a small mopane tree and begins to lick her paw, not out of pain, out of ritual, to stay clean, to hide her scent. One ear turns toward a bird's call. Her eyes stay open, half-lidded, but alert. The leopard never truly rests. She only waits. And sometimes, one chance is all it takes to survive another day. At first light, the zebra herd emerges silently by the edge of the Zambezi River. Dew still clings to the grass. Pale sunlight flickers across their striped coats, light and shadow weaving together like camouflage in motion. No braying, no sign of urgency. They move slowly but alert. This is a transitional zone, a stretch they must cross to reach fresh grass after the dry season. Every journey here is a test, not just because of distance, but because of what hides unseen in the tall reeds ahead. Zebras have no fangs, no claws. Their defense doesn't lie in strength, but in unity. They move in formation. The young are shielded in the center, surrounded by adults on all sides. It's order without command. Maintained not through signals, but through instinct. After the dry season, grass is scarce. That's why the herd has no choice but to leave safer ground and venture into areas closer to water, where the risk runs higher. Zebras don't choose where they live, they follow food, and the land changes beneath their hooves, yard by yard, day by day. Their stripes aren't just camouflage in tall grass. When they run close together, the interlacing stripes blur into confusion. A visual trick, making it hard for predators to tell front from back, leg from flank. This illusion works best up close, but only if the herd holds formation. If they scatter, if the young fall behind, the stripes lose their power. Survival doesn't belong to the fastest, it belongs to those who stay connected. Midday, the heat rises. The herd rests on a hilltop beneath scattered trees. They take turns standing, lying down, watching. There's no deep sleep in the world of prey. A single noise, a bird call, a shift in wind, and the whole herd jolts upright, ready to move. Zebras don't survive by hiding. They don't vanish into their landscape. They face danger by refusing to break apart. It's not a tactic, they're born knowing it. Each generation learns the same truth, not from teaching, but from experience. Live if you hold your place. Lose it, and you vanish. Evening falls. The red sun stretches their shadows across the grassland. They walk again. No leader needed, no call sounded. They move together as one body. Out there, just beyond the tree line, something might be waiting. Another predator, another chase, but the herd keeps moving. Not out of boldness, not because they feel safe, but because if they stop, they'll starve. They only survive one way, by moving forward and holding on to each other. In the shifting plains around Victoria Falls, where open grassland meets scattered mopane woods, a pack of African wild dogs moves silently across dry soil, through reeds and patches of broken rock. No noise, no urgency, yet every step maintains formation. They don't need a leader shouting commands. No barks, no signals, because the pack functions as a single system, each member knowing exactly where they belong. Among all of Africa's carnivores, wild dogs have one of the most structured social lives. They hunt together, raise their pups together, retreat and recover together. No one eats alone. No weak member is left behind. When a pup is injured, the pace slows. When a nursing female stays behind, others bring her food regurgitated with care. When resources run low, the most vulnerable eat first. Their survival isn't based on claws, not on strength, but on connection. The pack is everything. in the mosaic ecosystem of Victoria Falls, where plains shift into ravines and low forests. Wild dogs play a critical role in regulating medium-sized prey populations. They don't go after buffalo or wildebeest. They don't rely on a single food source. Thanks to extraordinary teamwork, they can shift targets fluidly from small antelope like bushbuck to ground birds, hares, even banded mongooses. This flexibility allows them to thrive in unpredictable landscapes, especially in dry seasons, or when prey migrates with water. Once, wild dogs could roam freely around Victoria Falls, traveling dozens of miles a day to hunt, to rest, to raise their young. But now, migration paths are broken by fences, farms, and tourism development. A single dog separated from its pack almost never makes it back. Losing formation means losing the ability to hunt, and the loss of just one member breaks a chain of coordination that took years to build. The land is shrinking, but the pack structure can't. A wild dog pack needs enough members to hunt, share food, and protect the weak. Fewer numbers, the system collapses. More predators, increased conflict with lions and hyenas, and survival rates drop sharply. In these tighter spaces, it's not nature that kills them, it's the loss of room to live the only way they know. Despite being carnivores, wild dogs don't bring chaos. They help keep small antelope populations in check, preventing overgrazing. They eliminate sick or injured animals, reducing disease spread in the wild. Their hunting leaves traces feeding scavengers like hyenas and vultures, completing nature's cleanup crew. Their ecological role isn't defined by kills, but by consistency, by teamwork, and resilience. At midday, the pack rests beneath a low tree near a dry stream bed. Not quite asleep, just paused. A few lie with heads resting on each other. Others form an outer ring, ears still flicking. Even while resting, formation remains. They don't have language like humans. But their calls, short, high-pitched, barely audible, keep them connected without drawing attention from enemies. If elephants hold memory, and antelope rely on reflex, then wild dogs are the blueprint of coordination. They're not the strongest, not the most numerous, but they're among the most efficient hunters in Africa because none of them goes alone. Across the uneasy grasslands, small packs trace narrow paths through the low brush, always close enough to never lose one another. They don't need to hunt today. As long as they stay together, there's still a chance for tomorrow. The edge of the Mopane forest fades into open savanna. It's still early, the heat hasn't peaked, but the light is enough to reveal a group of lions. Pressed low against the grass. No movement, no sound, just shifting eyes, scanning for motion within their line of sight. Here, lions no longer hunt as confidently as they once did in the lowlands. Their behavior has changed because their space has changed. In the past, prides would spread out, attacking from multiple sides, a sweeping tactic made possible by wide-open terrain. But around the fringes of the Victoria Falls ecosystem, that space no longer exists. The land is uneven, the shrubs are sparse, and migration corridors are fractured, cut by fences and farms. A spread-out formation risks exposure, so the lions now move in smaller units, sometimes just pairs reducing noise, concealing direction, but smaller groups mean fewer options. Fewer hunters, fewer flanks to block escape, more prey slipping through. Competition has grown too. Wild dogs now patrol these outer zones more frequently. They're faster, more flexible, and better adapted to tight terrain. Meanwhile, prey movements have shifted, no longer gathering at water holes. Antelope and warthogs now follow soil moisture, appearing and vanishing with the seasons. Lions can't command the hunting grounds like they once did. They wait for chances, follow luck. They rotate territories. They rest more often lying still for hours under scattered trees, shaded and breezy, to manage their body heat. Eyes stay half open, ears flick. Especially those on the pride's edge. Occasionally, one rises, not to hunt, just to check the wind. To watch. If there are no signs, no fresh scat, no trampled grass, no strange sounds, they won't move. Every step in this restricted land costs energy, and a failed hunt means wasted strength, with nothing to replenish it. Lions are apex predators, but even apex predators need room to execute strategy. When the land no longer supports their approach, failure becomes routine, and when failure stacks, behavior shifts. Researchers near Victoria Falls have observed lions adapting in real time. Shorter chases. These behavioral shifts aren't just a lion problem, they're signals of a system losing its balance. If lions hunt less, antelope populations can spike overgrazing the land. If lions are pushed out, they invade new territories, disrupting food chains. Worse still, some begin moving toward farmland where human-wildlife conflict is almost inevitable, and lions don't always win those encounters. When a single adult is lost, the pride's structure weakens, coordination crumbles, collapse spreads. As the day fades, there's no roaring. The lions rise one by one, shifting positions, seeking cooler ground. No one calls. No one breaks off alone. They huddle together not out of fear, but instinct, because isolation here means vulnerability. Pride shrinking into tight, unmoving clusters, cub survival rates falling due to lack of food and constant disruption, hunts growing shorter, failing more often, and targeting fewer prey types. And it doesn't stop at the lions. These changes ripple upward a top-tier predator, reduced to scavenging ground. It's not just a decline in lions, it's a sign the ecosystem itself is unraveling. Midday. The Zambezi winds slowly through a gentle bend. After days of retreating water, the sandbanks lie exposed beneath the full sun. The surface shimmers with heat. Everything seems still, but beneath the water, something waits. A Nile crocodile lies motionless at the edge. No movement, no ripple. Its back is crusted in mud, blending into the rocks that dot the riverbank. No one knows it's there until it moves. Crocodiles don't roam far. They wait. They strike only when prey is close enough to avoid wasting energy. No packs. No long pursuits. They rely on timing and the flow of water. Several times a day, animals approach the water's edge: antelope, birds, even monkeys. The crocodile doesn't lunge randomly. It waits for a mistake, a sip too close. A glance away, then a snap. If the bite lands, it drags its prey beneath the surface. Their method is simple but brutally effective. No sound, no chase. Just a single burst of movement and a jaw strong enough to hold. Most kills happen quickly, vanishing beneath the water. Sometimes you don't even see what happened, only the ripple and silence stretching after. Though carnivorous, crocodiles aren't just predators. They're the river's cleanup crew. They consume the dead animals drowned, diseased, or left behind after conflict. And by doing so, they protect the water, not by purifying it, but by removing what would pollute it. Unlike many predators, crocodiles don't eat daily. Their digestion is slow. One successful kill can sustain them for weeks. They stay close to home, conserving energy through dry seasons. Few creatures live more efficiently. In the afternoon, crocodiles often haul themselves onto sandbanks to bask. This isn't rest, it's heat regulation, essential for digesting a previous meal. That image. A long gray body, eyes open, perfectly still in the sand. It's one of the most common sights on the Zambezi. Not a break, a process.
Crocodiles live in silence, but their silence commands respect. The riverbank is never entirely safe, because you never know when. Just feet away, one lies waiting. They may seem like creatures that need nothing, but crocodiles face their own threats. Nesting grounds shrink as water levels shift, especially when upstream dams change the flow. Eggs dry out in cracked sand or drown in sudden floods. Predators, birds, mongooses, egg eaters strike often. Few hatchlings survive. Even if they hatch, young crocs face danger from above. From below, even from each other. Only a handful from hundreds of eggs ever reach adulthood.
And beyond nature's threats, there's the human hand. Crocodiles are still hunted, for skin, for meat, and often because we misunderstand them. In truth, they rarely attack unless provoked, or unless humans approach carelessly. They don't seek conflict. They just don't have a voice to warn us away. As night falls, they slide back into the water. No rush, just a smooth glide over sand. Back to the place they've always known. Night is their moment, when prey relaxes, when the odds shift again, or when waiting becomes the strategy once more. In the still surface of the river, nothing stirs. But something is always watching. Crocodiles don't need to show themselves often, but their presence is constant, a silent reminder that wherever there is water, there are laws. The Victoria Falls ecosystem isn't a stage where life competes to shine. It's a living map redrawn each day by footsteps, hoofprints, and the breath of species still holding on. Here, there's no single way to survive. Some travel hundreds of miles, just to find the water they once knew. Some lie still all day, just to avoid a shadow they feel, but never see. Some aren't strong, aren't fast, but survive because they stay together. Victoria Falls doesn't crown the strongest. It shelters those who adapt, who notice every small shift, and know when to keep moving and when to stop. Thank you for joining us on this journey across quiet lands, where every footprint is more than a mark. It's a memory of something wild that once passed by and may never return. At Wild Expeditions, we believe stories of survival never end. They're just waiting to be heard one more time before they fade from the world's memory.